everyone, it's Deja. Welcome to Deja's Crafty Space. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, I've got a few more Christmas craft ideas to inspire you for this season. For this first project, I got this white Christmas tree ornament from Michael's last year. I wanted to add a new ornament to my tree, so this one is definitely for me. I just wanted a really simple design, and by simple, I simply mean just Jesus' name. This design is from Cricut Design Space, and like I mentioned in all of my videos so far, I will provide all of the details of the things I use in each of my videos in the description section. Now, I did modify this design. It originally had a heart beneath Jesus, but I contoured that out because I didn't like the heart, but if you like it, you can go ahead and keep it. I am using Siser Gold vinyl for this design. Next, I am using HTV rock transfer tape to transfer my design onto the ornament. This wood ornament has a glossy sealant over it, so I think it is completely appropriate to clean the surface with rubbing alcohol to get rid of any oil and dust that is on it. This will allow my vinyl to stick on really well. I will be putting the design on both the front and back side. I just love how this turned out, and it will definitely remind me of the reason for this season. It's all about Jesus. Now, I'm curious to know, are you an early Christmas shopper, or do you wait until December to start shopping for gifts? For me, I can definitely say that I am a December Christmas shopper, but somehow this year I surprised myself by shopping early, and I've wrapped up all of my Christmas gifts already. So it actually feels really good to be completely done and just ready to gift it to people that I love and receive as well. Here's the final look. I love how the gold shines, and it just has an overall clean and pretty look. Stay tuned until the end to see how it looks like on my Christmas tree. Moving on to the next project, I found this wood decor frame from Michael's a few months ago. It was in their clearance rack for $5. I love the overall aesthetic look of this frame, and it has a little jute twine attached to the top of the frame so that you can hang it up vertically. I'm actually going to place my design on here horizontally. I have this pack of wood ornaments that I purchased from Hobby Lobby a few years ago when they had their winter clearance, and I really wanted to combine these two items together. My idea was to spell out the word joy. The J and Y were cut out of black adhesive vinyl, and the wood ornament would be the O. I used my cordless hot glue gun to glue the ornament down first to get the placement centered. But as you can see, I was not that centered because the glue gun was hot, and I had to move quickly before the glue cooled down, which made me misplace the ornament, but that's okay. I should have gone with plan A, which was to make some markings on the frame to guide me where to place the ornament perfectly onto the frame. But I got a little too impatient and I tried to eyeball it. And I can honestly say that eyeballing is not really one of my crafty strengths. I used transfer tape to transfer the J and Y onto the frame. I also eyeballed this too. If you want precise alignment, you'll need to get a small tape measure or ruler out to measure the gaps so that it is precisely spaced out and aligned evenly either on the top or on the bottom. But I'm okay with this look. It has a handmade touch to it, and I think it would also be a super cute gift for someone. Next, I found this wood blank Christmas tree from Dollar Tree. This one is super fun and easy. I used this acrylic paint in the shade Seafoam and painted the entire tree with this color. I waited until it dried completely, then I grabbed my acrylic paint markers. I used the black marker to draw in the strains of the Christmas lights. Then I used a variety of colors to draw in some round lights. I went back and added the yellow color to draw in the Christmas light sockets. After that, I added a bunch of snowflakes. You can be as creative as you want to be with this project. I am not an artist by any means, but I wanted to show you a fun way on how you can craft with wood blanks like this. This would also be a fun project to do with your kids, grandkids, or children you work with, such as a nursery, children ministry, or daycare. Alright, we are all done with this project. Look how cute this turned out. Here is the last project. I'm using this pack of wood blanks from Hobby Lobby. It's called Wood Economy Bag, and you can find this in the woodcraft aisle. The idea I had for this was to create a rustic wooden stack of books. You can stack them however you like. You can stack them unevenly to create a one-dimensional look, or stack them all in a straight line. I'm going to stack them in a straight line for this project. I used Waverly chalk paint in the color white and Waverly antique wax to create a rustic, worn-out look. Before I painted these wood, I used a sanding block to sand the surface and edges so that my paint will go on nicely and to also prevent myself from getting any splinter. My chalk paint was looking a little dry, so I poured it out onto a paper plate like this. It came out in big chunks, and it was weird, so I tested it out to see if it was going to work, and it seemed fine. After testing the chalk paint, I grabbed my hot glue gun and glued the 3 pieces of wood together like this. Once that is done, I painted everything white except for the bottom side. You can paint that too if you'd like to. When the white chalk paint is dry, I poured out a little bit of the antique wax and dabbed a piece of paper towel into it. Then I gently spread that onto the edges and smeared it randomly all around to create the rustic antique look. There are many ways to do this, and this is just my way of doing it. Feel free to use whatever method you're comfortable with. You can use as much or as little of the antique wax as you want to. I grabbed some greenery plants and floral that I had left over from another project. I was complacent about whether to use it or not, but I grabbed it just in case I decided to add them for a finished touch. I also grabbed this ribbon from my stash because I'm going to make a bow. But before I add the bow and greenery, I'm going to add my vinyl design on here. It says, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." You want to make sure that you wait until the paint is completely dry before adding the vinyl, otherwise it's not going to stick onto the surface. The vinyl will pick up the wet paint and ruin your design. It will not stick down because the adhesive side will be covered in paint, and that would mean having to recut your design again. So please be patient and wait for the paint to dry. There were so many different phrases that I wanted to use for this project. I almost settled for "joy to the world," but I already had a few other decor in my home with that phrase, so I went with this phrase instead. You could also use "Happy Holidays," "Merry Christmas," or images like a stocking, snowflakes, and angels. You can even leave it blank and it'll still look really nice and pretty. I took my ribbon and wrapped it around on the end of the left side like this to appear like it's part of the bow. You can do the traditional way of just wrapping the ribbon around and then tie a bow, but for me, I am not good at making bows, so I'm making this slightly more complicated than it looks. This is how I make a bow. I cut out a long piece of ribbon about 20 inches and a short piece about 4 inches. I start with the shorter piece and glue the sides with my hot glue gun and fold it inward like this. Remember to watch out for your fingers because the glue is very hot and you can burn yourself. When I am done gluing the sides inward, I take the longer piece and form the bow. I start by forming a loop, making sure that both sides are even on the bottom, and then I take the ends and crisscross them. The right side goes over the left side. From the top of the loop, I find the center and then I push it down to meet the crisscross center of the two ends. I pinch them together like this. Then I take the small ribbon piece from earlier and wrap it around the center part where I'm pinching to hold it down. I take my hot glue gun and glue the ends down. You can cut off the ends of the ribbon however you like. I like the dovetail cut, so I'll take one of the ends and fold it in half and cut it diagonally. I repeat the same step on the other side. You can place the ribbon on top or on the side or anywhere you'd like. I did like the look of it on top, but then I decided to glue it on the side so that I can see the ribbon. The ends of my ribbon was really long, so I decided to trim it down some more so that it doesn't cover the words or touch the ground. Just a quick FYI, these Cricut scissors are not the best for cutting wired ribbon, but it was the only one within my reach at the moment. I do recommend using a bigger pair of scissors. When I finished trimming the ends, I curled the ends outward like this. My camera ran out of battery, so I was unable to film myself adding the greenery at the end, so I apologize about that. But it was pretty simple. All I did was cut off the pieces I wanted with a wire cutter tool, and then I used my hot glue gun to glue it on behind the bow. Here is how my rustic wooden stack of books turned out. Check out how I styled these in my home. As always, thank you so much for visiting, and I hope you'll join me again in my next video. Have a blessed day.